Yo, what up, big cats? My Heroescape 20 here, and today, guys, what I have for you here today is the Jack skill point guide. And what I'm gonna be talking to you guys about today is not only the skills that are necessary for Jack to succeed, but why. So a lot of people just go ahead and show you guys, here's the build, and blah blah blah. But I'm gonna go ahead and tell you why it works and what exactly the skills will work with and everything like that. And I think you guys will have a more appreciation of the understanding of Jack himself. So just like I normally do on all the other characters, I have two builds for Jack's skill point tree. So let's go ahead and jump right in. The two builds are basically clone power. I named it, I don't know, just basically around your clone. And the other one is more of a solo Jack. He is greedy. That's what Jack's playstyle is about if you go the other way. So we're going to be, taking advantage of that. We're going to be really, really trying to, home in on his greediness. So let's go ahead and start with the first one, clone power. So first thing you're going to do is get best foot forward 5 out of 5. And what this does is while your action skill is active, killing an enemy increases your action skill's duration. This skill has a diminishing returns, which means basically what that means is, you can keep killing things, but you're not getting the 2.5 each time. So maybe you kill 2, then it goes to 2.3. You kill 5, and it goes down to 1.9. And, there's not a steady 2.5 is basically what that's saying. So next thing you're going to do is come over here to bolster 4 out of 5. And the reason why I say 4 out of 5 is because we're basically going to want to free up some from some next ranks, for us. But what this does is increases your maximum health for you and your Digijacks. The longer the Digijack, the more damage it does. So it gives you more health and gives you more damage. So next you're going to do is you may have my shield 1 of 1. And what this is basically your shield or your clone. I'm just going to start calling them clone every time it says Digijack. It just makes it easier. But basically your clone is going to be is going to have a shield. So what this does is make them survive a lot longer as well as do more damage. So that is kind of what we're going to be focusing on this guide, is the fact that the longer he is up, the more damage he's going to do, as well as when he finally does go down, then there's going to be a lot of chain reactions, which you will see a little bit later on. So after doing that, you're going to go to Jack's Cache, and what this basically does is whenever someone kills, you get stacks. Whenever you have 4, your grenades consume the stacks instead of your grenades. So basically you're getting free nades is what that says. So yeah, after that, what you're going to do is come back up here to take your freedom, and you're going to do that 4 out of 5. And the reason why you're going to do that 4 to 5 is whenever you or your Digijack, oh god, I just said that. Whenever you or your clone kill an enemy, you and your clone gain health. So, you heal for 10% of max health on heal. And the reason why we didn't want to get this first is, it becomes a little bit more valuable as you level up, as well as when you have this. So it's 10% of your max health. I don't know if you guys know, but every time you level up, obviously your max health increases. So by getting this after around level 18, you had a lot more time for your character to scale, and it's actually worth more. Because shields are kind of like a stationary thing. You're constantly upgrading your shields. So that's why I felt like getting this a little bit later, but not too late is worth doing that. So yeah, next thing you're going to do is go on my mark, and this is 1 of 1. So basically what this says is your clone can now throw a nade on top of, or whenever you choose. So you can throw a nade at a target, and as long as your crosshairs are on that target, your clone can throw one as well. So after that, you're going to come down here to Resolute, and you're going to do that one 5 out of 5. And the reason why I chose this over all of the other ones is basically it gives your clone more damage resistance as well as damage itself. And it's not just for your clone, it's for you and him. Now, obviously we can be increasing our shields right here as a flat rate shields. We can do that if we want. You can come over here and increase your fire rate and everything like that, as well as this, which gives you shield and health regen. But Personally, I like this just because of the extra power as well as the damage resistance. The damage resistance is very nice, and it's whenever you or your clone take damage, so it's nice. So after that, you're going to come down here to promote the rank, and basically this gives you a badass clone, and this badass clone is so broken. I can't even tell you guys. I can't explain that enough to you, how broken and how powerful the, I guess, the badass clone for Jack is. It is so strong. You're just gonna have to play it yourself for you to really understand. That's really all I can say about that. But after this, we're gonna come over here to integrity, and we're gonna do this one 5 out of 5. So yeah, we've completed that, and at this point, we have the badass clone. So we're not gonna come over here, and we're not gonna do this because this is very solo minded. This does not help our clone whatsoever, and the whole point of this tree right here, or this, the whole mission right now is to increase our clone's, usefulness, I guess. So, yeah, after that, you can do, after integrity 5 out of 5, which gives you bonus weapon damage, against enemies that are below 40% health, and that multiplier is 4. So that's very, very nice. As well as the thing, if you see if they're below 40% health, but you haven't damaged them yet, that's when you get the bonus multiplier. So that's really strong. After that, you're going to come down here to collaborate 5 out of 5, and the reason why we're going to do collaborate 5 out of 5 is whenever your clone dies, you gain a stack of collaborate. You and your clone gain a damage bonus, right, equal to the number of collaborate stacks you have, and they're lost when your action cooldown is canceled. So basically, or ended, basically you get a 5% per stack, and as well as your clone gets 5%, and there's 10 stacks. So you have a potential of a 50% damage bonus increase. And the way we're going to eventually kind of play this down, so right now they're pretty bulky, but the way we're going to play this down is they're going to be super bulky, but they're going to, as well as be resetting. A couple of them are going to be resetting. So let me rephrase that. Your badass is going to be staying alive a lot, and then your other ones are going to be resetting constantly, doing a lot of AoE, as well as giving you and the badass more damage. So I'll explain that a little bit more as we go down, but that's basically what this is going to do. So, yeah, so you're going to do that. Then you're going to come down here to diversity 101, and basically your clone wrist laser is now a shotgun laser. This is pretty good. It doesn't stand out as much as the merger, which we'll talk about a little bit later, but it's still nice, and I personally like it. So they want to be up close anyway, so that I just think that's great. Next thing you're gonna do is Optimism 5 out of 5, and this is the thing that's gonna, at this point right here, is when I feel like your clone is almighty. So this is where it says, when one of your clone dies, he sets off an explosion, damaging all nearby enemies. Also, the next clone will spawn with less health, right? So basically, you're going to do this ranked 5 massive explosion when one of your dies. So picture it as in Borderlands 2, the commando dropping his turret, and then that massive nuke explosion. Just pretty much envision that. And yeah, so you do that. So he's going to get less health. The next one's going to get less health, which is going to die quicker and then give us more stacks. So this one dies, we get a stack. The next one will die soon, give us a stack. Then it'll respawn, and that will explode. Then the next one will have less health. And so it's just a chain reaction between these two, and then your badass is staying alive, getting damage reduction as well as more damage, and doing more damage over time, blah 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 blah. And that badass is doing so much work, as well as everything else doing AoE damage. You can just put your controller down at this point. After this rank at level 41, you can just put your controller down. You don't even have to play the game anymore. Pretty much is how this skill tree goes. So. Yeah, it's very nice. So next thing after that, you're going to go to potential 1 of 1, and whenever your clone spawns, he shuts off a shock nova, and you can also use your action skill while in fight for your life, which is very, very nice. So like I said, between these two, you're going to be doing a ton of AoE, and I think it's just fantastic. So yeah. After that, what you're going to do is come down here, and you're going to go to, it's somewhere around here, Teamwork 4 to 5. And the reason why we're going to do 4 to 5 is, as you can see right here, it eventually unlocks this for us. But this is whenever a ally enters Fight for Your Life or your clone dies, you regenerate health for a few seconds. So we know they're going to die a bunch. We know your clones are going to, going to die and reset. So this is going to make us survive a lot longer and be able to kind of reset this by killing things and keeping things more alive and longer. And it's just a nice combination having this. I wouldn't recommend getting this till you achieve both of these. I don't think that getting this and then coming down here and then doing that is very helpful, because at this point up here, your clones are still very, very bulky, and you're not going to be, if you're playing by yourself, then you're not going to be really taking advantage of this because your clones aren't going to die as often. But once you hit this and then you get the AoE, then that's when I feel like the teamwork is actually viable. So I'd get that one 4 to 5, and then you're going to come down here to leadership. And basically what this is saying is while you're in second wind, which is basically in Fight for Your Life. I'm sorry, while you're in Fight for Your Life, if your clone dies while you're down there, you get second wind. And yeah, basically it just says you can only do that once during that action skill. So that's pretty good. That's very nice, and it's very helpful. So after that, you're going to come up here and you're going to go over to, after leadership, you're going to come up here to commitment 1 of 1. And the reason why we're doing commitment first after this is whenever a clone dies or a friend goes in your Fight for Life, you gain a stack of commitment. The longer your friends are in Fight for Your Life, the more stacks you gain, blah, blah, blah. And then basically what this is saying is when a clone dies for 6 seconds, you get increased fire rate and reload speed, basically. Every time something dies, every time a clone dies, you get those. And it's just kind of like a helpful padding stat. It's not like a, oh my god, like game changer, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of just like a, hey, that's helpful. And that kind of goes with, it pretty much goes with the build as well. And so that's kind of where these remaining 3 skill points are going. So yeah. So next you're going to come down here to accountability 1 of 1. And whenever a friend or clone takes damage, you gain a stack of accountability. And this is the exact same thing as this. Instead of when they die, it's when they take damage. Now the thing about this is, if you take damage, you lose half of your stacks. But if you die, you lose all of them. So, yeah, don't get hit, pretty much. Let your clones kind of do the thing. That's pretty much what this build is about. Let your clones do the work for you. So if you're into that, if you are into, I guess there's really no character like that. I don't know, I guess the Wolf and Saint were a little bit like that if you upgraded it correctly. Focused more on Wolf than you did, the cyber power of Wilhelm himself. That or, Mordecai's Bloodwing. I don't know, it just kind of depends. But yeah, that's basically what this thing is. It's pretty much, these do all the damage itself. And then the final skill point you're going to do, and I always go to, it says 63, but I always go to 50 to let you guys know. Because some people don't have, some people don't like to go past 50 because it's, it's a pretty stationary number. And some people didn't buy the season pass and upgraded and all that stuff. So, yeah, so next you're going to come over here and get Inspire. Now, Inspire doesn't do anything. It really does not give you any stats and everything, but trust me, this skill is worth it. If you're a tryhard, I would get this last. If you're not a tryhard and don't really care when you get these, get this as soon as possible because it's hilarious. Some of the stuff he says, I really don't want to ruin it if you haven't heard it for yourself. I'm sure there's videos out there on it and everything like that. But, there's some rumors and speculations going around that, maybe it has a hidden stat and it doesn't show and everything like that. But I don't really know if that's true or not. And I don't know if that's been confirmed. So, don't take my word on that. So, yeah, that's pretty much the skill, I guess the build. The pros and cons for this, one of the pros is you are very, or let me say, you're not even reliant. You're still very strong by yourself, but the clone can, your Digijacks can do everything. I mean everything. They can solo bosses. Like they can They can do everything. And I guess that's one of the pros. If you're having trouble, recruit a Jack on your team, build him this way, and instant win pretty much. You know, of course, if he's like a high enough level. And then I guess some of the cons are you're not really maximizing the potential threat that Jack can bring on his next build, which I'll show you, which relies on swapping and reload resets, as well as non-stop grenades, pretty much. So it's just an all-around solo player. This is more of a he benefits on other people losing, which is sad, which I guess is kind of fits his personality, but he benefits on people dying. He benefits on your friends dying. He's kind of a douchebag. So that's pretty much what that is. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and move on to the next one. So the next one I named it, I guess, Soloman. And what this is about, as I mentioned, is pretty much making him as a individual as strong as possible. And that's what we're going to be doing right now. So first thing you're going to do is come over to the free enterprise skill tree over here, and you're going to do this 5 out of 5. And what this is doing is swapping weapons increases fire rate for a short time. Each stack lost 10 seconds, or I'm sorry, each stack lasts 10 seconds, and then if you haven't swapped in 10 seconds, you lose your stack. So that's basically how that is. So instead of getting this one first, which gives you 75% weapon swap speed, who cares about weapon swap speed if you don't benefit from it, right? So what's the point? So that's why you're going to get this first, and then you're going to come over here and do this 5 to 5, which is going to give you a 75% weapon swap speed. Have you ever seen a 360 no-scope ladder stall? Well, you're about to. That's pretty much what this is. Next, you're going to come down here and do money as power, which is a super, super strong skill later in the game. Now, right now, if say this is your first character you've ever played, or you're starting a new character and you need to buy weapons, at level 14, you're going to be buying and upgrading a bunch of stuff. So this doesn't really matter as much, you know? So you're going to be buying and selling stuff. And what this basically, I don't know if I forgot to read this, I guess, but basically what you do is every time you pick up money, you get more and more and more damage bonus. But every time you spend money or die, whenever you die, you lose money. So that's how that kind of comes in. Whenever you spend money or die, all stacks are gone. So you have a max of 999 stacks at 0.25% per stack. And you're like, that's really low. If you come over here, and then, we'll see, let's move this out of the way. 999 times 0.25. That's an extra 250 per bullet. Like, that is per bullet. It does an extra 250 damage at max stats. So, what's good about that one is, you know, later in the game, if you're having trouble with the boss fight, just kind of go and farm some lower levels. Defeat a boss fight. Go defeat Bunker if you can. Go defeat the Imperious, you know, the Sentinel or something, you know, something that you can beat easily later on in the game and not have a problem and just get free money stacks. And then you hit right around, you don't have to hit 999, but you hit like high 600s plus, and that's already a significant, you know, damage increase. So this is very, very good late game, but early on, you're not going to see the benefits of it because you're going to be constantly dying because you don't have legendary gear and stuff. You're going to be, you know, spending money to upgrade and, you know, blah, blah, blah. So that's kind of the process with that. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and move on from that, but that's pretty much what I needed to say for that. Next, you're going to come down here and you go to Merger, and this is freaking awesome. It's a melee override skill, and it's a shock laser, so it completely depletes their shields and everything. And there's been glitches about this where you can, I really don't know exactly the steps for the glitch, but you can kind of like do a couple things, and then this is like non-stop. So you're doing a non-stop laser, and it pretty much melts everybody, and it pretty much is what broke Jack. This right here, and then the badass is pretty much what broke Jack. But yeah. So next thing you're gonna do is come down here to taxation without trade routes. You're gonna do that 4 to 5, and then you're gonna come. And I'll explain what that does in a second. And then you're going to come down here and do absolute advantage. And you're going to do this 4 to 5. So right here is where you need to choose. So what this does is increases your fire rate with all gun types, and the bonus is based on how many bullets are currently in the magazine. The emptier the gun magazine, the greater the bonus. And this one is kill skill. Whenever you're killing an enemy, gives you chances not to consume ammo, as well as rocket launchers. So most things like this does not apply to rocket launchers, but this applies to rocket launchers. So that's fantastic. So what I did is I did this one 4 out of 5 and made this one 5 out of 5. And the reason I did that, as you can see right here, it's an 8% increase and a 4%. And this is an 8% and a 12, like this is a 12% increase, right? But the difference is your fire rate is already increased right here, right? Your fire rate's increased here. Your fire rate is going to be increased here, and then your fire rate is going to also be increased as well as throughout this, build. So you need to start adding some variations to this. You need to be able to pick some, or be able to equip some more damage, as well as chance to not. More utility, I guess, is the best word for it. So fire rate is awesome. If you have 1,000 fire rate, but you don't have any damage, that doesn't matter. If you're doing 1,000 rounds per second at 1 damage, who cares if you're doing 1 damage? You kind of want to find a balance, or maybe slightly favored one way or the other. So that's where that kind of, came in. But if you value the fire rate a little bit more than the extra chance, go for it. But this is personally how I think. Logically, I just feel like it is just more helpful this way. So yeah. So next thing you're gonna do after that is go down to sponsored by blah blah blah. So your guns gain a manufacturer bonus based on the last gun you held in your hand. So here they are. I'm not gonna read them all out to you. Some, there's some. Let's see. How do I want to word this? There's some key ones here, I guess. The Jacob's weapon damage is very helpful. The damage as elemental is very nice. The Torg damage as explosive is very helpful, which we'll talk about. And then the reload speed for Theodore. So like pretty much all these are really helpful. There's a skill up here. It says gain increased accuracy and critical hit damage with all gun types based on the number of pieces of Hyperion gear you have equipped. If you really love Hyperion and you want to make him all about Hyperion, you can go for it. Then I would do this skill and maybe get rid of this, or maybe put a little bit into this and this, but it only gives you accuracy and critical hit damage, I guess, per one that's equipped, but still. It just depends how many you have. So if you're not maxing all Hyperion gear, I don't think it's worth it. So yeah, so next thing we're going to do is come over here to best foot forward again. And like I was telling you earlier, the badass is just too good to not use. But we're going to prioritize some other skills more than others, I would say. So in the last one, if you remember, we kind of prioritized these two, making us a little bit more bulkier, getting us more health regen so our stuff could stay alive longer. Well, this is not about that. We want our badass to be powerful, but at the same time, we're going to be more, or just as powerful, I would say. So that's what we're going to be focusing on. Next, you can come down here to just compensation, and this increases your magazine size as well as your grenade bonus, or your grenade damage bonus. Basically, the less nades that you have, the more bonuses you can get. And your magazine size can go up to 60%, and your grenade damage is up to 40%, which is very, very nice. Next thing you're going to come over here and do is Jack's Cash, which is going to give us the whole thing I talked about, which whenever you kill stuff, you get pretty much tokens. You cash in those tokens for a free nade, and you can do 40%, or yeah, 40% extra damage with that free nade. You're going to come down here to, after that, you're going to do All My Mark 1 of 1, and this is going to increase our grenade value, just the same as last time. Your Digijack can throw stuff as well, throw nades as well. Next, you're going to come over here to Lean On Me, and you're going to do this one 4 out of 5, and what this does is increases their fire rate for you, and gives your clone a chance to fire bonus corrosive shots based on how high your health is. So basically it's the fire rate and the corrosive shot chance, which is important here. So we already talked about the fire rate over here, and we talked about the fire rate here. And this, at this point right here, is where I was I didn't want to give it away, but you get the 20%, 28% extra fire rate. So say you get, let's see, what is this? 48 plus 28, 76 plus 40, which is 116. So 116 extra. You don't really need an extra 12. You see what I'm saying? That's why it's better to have that. But yeah, that made my point. So hopefully you guys, if you thought the other way, hopefully you guys can agree with me. If not, that's cool too. You know, it's obviously your build. But just let me know in the comments below, you know, maybe why, so I can just kind of understand and see the other side, I suppose. Next thing you're going to come over here and do is you're going to do Resolute 5 out of 5. And the reason I did this 5 out of 5 instead of this 5 out of 5 and like that, the reason I did it like that is because it's the weapon damage I was talking about earlier. You need some utility and everything and some punch to your guns, and at this point you can have that. What's really nice about this is you're a little bit tankier as well, so it's kind of like a win-win. You know, you're a little bit tankier. We didn't give us any more health or anything, or health regen, but we gave us some damage resistance and more damage, so it's pretty nice. And then you're going to come down here and promote the rank, which gives you a badass, and then this is where this all clicks in. We have 3 points. What are we going to do? Marginal benefits, 3 out of 5. And throwing a grenade has a chance to reload all equipped weapons. And that right there, that skill right here is what, well, I mean, the rest of them are nice, but this skill right here is what truly, truly, truly ties in this whole build. Basically, you have increased, and you don't get this early, you get this later, because at this point, before that, now you have increased magazine size, and grenade damage bonus, you have the free nades, you have the additional nade utility, I suppose, that's how you say that, and now you have all these fire rate things, the extra stuff, and now you have every time you throw it like a cash or a nade, bam, your clip is instantly reloaded, and you can just fire for days, and that is what makes this skill tree really good. Now, some of you might be thinking, why go down this tree and not take advantage of some of the perks over here? Well, let me explain to you why. First of all, like I said, this is broken. The badass is really, really strong. But besides that, you know, we're only at level 50. Say we want to go to level 70 or whatever. At this point, this is what you do, right? So you come over here and you just go in integrity, right? We talked about that. You come over here, get more weapon damage. You get this, which allows you to get more movement speed, as well as shields. And you come down here and you get even more stuff. So it's not like you're never going to get this. Now, you can take 2 away from this and add 1 in here. You can do that, but I don't feel like the 9% is helpful. At that point, you might as well take that away and give it to that. But I feel like if you just do it like this is the best way to do it. So if you really have the game, you can fully take advantage of this build, just like that. And this is a very strong build. If you have the level cap for 70, you just go straight down here like that. And that gives you a bunch of stuff, you know, weapon damage to 20%. Gives you even more damage, that's 50% right there, and then the damage multiplier, it's just very powerful, but the synergy between these two are very nice, so I feel like it's kind of more important if you don't have the additional levels. So that's basically it. So let's talk about the pros and cons real quick before I wrap this up. The pros for this are you're very, very, you're strong, you know, if your cooldown or your, I guess, skill tree is down. That's skill tree is not even the right word. You know what I'm talking about. If your clone is down, you can still put out a ton of damage. You're not relying on it at all. With the last one, you're relying on that thing to cycle through multiple times and do the most out of its cycle as possible, so you can kind of clean up. Where this is kind of the other way around. The The clone is more of a aiding thing rather than the primary thing. So if you don't like things doing everything for you, really, maybe this is the better build for you. Some of the cons is you're not as tanky. You don't have the health regen, as well as if you take away this and this becomes useless, at that point, if you take 2 away, I would say, you don't get the recycle, all this stuff where you can do things and fight for your life and all that. You can't do that. So, it's kind of how you want to play Jack. Do you see Jack as greedy and all about him? Well, both builds kind of reflect that when you really think about it. The other build relied on him staying alive and everyone else dying. Forget everyone else. I'm powerful, right? Whereas this build as well is all about him as also. So it just depends how you want to play it. They both kind of are similar, but one is prioritized more than the other is basically the best way to say that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you stayed around, listen for the whole thing, I really appreciate it. I feel like some of my points are very helpful and everything. So I just hope it helped you guys out. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions or any other variations, please let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. I'm always willing to learn and wanting to learn more about Borderlands and how to improve and blah blah blah. So please let me know in the comments below any feedback, negative, positive. I don't care. I just need to know. So thanks guys for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you in the next video. All right, peace.